The Inquiry Learning Revolution with amBook. A presentation by Eric Lam, CEO of Amden. Amden, Rethinking Pedagogy. Textbooks are the core of the classroom. However, there are several reasons why textbooks are no longer needed. In fact, there's a need for something new. There are certain misaligned expectations for what textbooks can do for the classroom learning. One is that textbooks drive instruction, but what they really do is provide merely adequate information for students to attain standards in the curriculum. They don't drive deep and critical thinking. It is also thought that current textbooks promote inquiry-based learning. However, textbooks tend to be used in a didactic approach instead, completely the opposite of inquiry-based learning. They are not aligned with what we know as best practices for learning. It is also thought, well, if the textbooks are well written, they'll promote understanding of concepts. But a well-written textbook merely promotes understanding of operations. It's not pedagogically sound, not based on what we know is best for student learning. Teachers need something that promotes understanding of concepts. And today, we know what can. Our experience in interactive ebooks has drawn accolades from groups such as Compuet Gazette for the winner of the 17th Annual Bessie Award in 2011 for the Best Science Educational Software. amBook has also been endorsed by Dr. Roger W. Bybee, the chair of the PISA 2006 Expert Committee, and an internationally respected inquiry-based learning expert. Amden was the winner of the Singapore Ministry of Education's Next Generation Interactive Textbook Project. And Amden licensed amBook to one of Australia's biggest e-learning players for mathematics, 3P Learning, in a joint venture. And Amden is also a partner with Crescent Girls School for the development of the Next Generation Interactive Textbook for a future school at Singapore. So considering interactive ebooks, we must look at them with all the other options that are potential for delivering content in the classroom. But two areas to be considered important are the pedagogical orientation of that delivery system and also the cognitive interactivity. As you can see on the lower left is printed textbooks. Also, right next to it is digital textbooks. Many other major publishers have digitized their textbooks, merely making PDF versions of the printed textbook, or some slightly higher level of interactivity, but still low on both pedagogical orientation and cognitive interactivity. Games are on a high end of cognitive interactivity, especially games that are made today. However, they do not have a very strong pedagogical orientation. As you can see, there are others as well that show high pedagogical orientation, however low cognitive interactivity, such as documentaries. Well, Amden has created something that has both high cognitive interactivity and high pedagogical orientation in amBook. But there are particular success factors for interactive ebooks. Obviously, you want the interactive ebook to be engaging and attractive. However, the other factors are that you would want children to want to explore and read the material meaningfully. You'd want to encourage children to pose questions that have a framework, context, and focus to clarify concepts. You would like them to influence their peers to explore the material, having a social aspect to their learning. And you do not want them to be bored by the material after several tries, and you would want it to encourage them to discuss with their peers when exploring the material. All of these success factors for interactive ebooks have been well thought out by amDen, and they utilize action psychology, relevancy-based content framing, and the 5E instructional model. In applying the elements of action psychology to amBook, amDen has been quite thoughtful and reflective in choosing the proper learning material in response to interactions with students, such that it will result in an action. And by action, we mean a behavior that is intentional, goal-directed, organized, and purposive. And of course, this action then will result in a stabilization with the learning material. In action psychology terms, in learning terms, the student will have now taken in that information and subsumed that into their understanding of the content. So in amBook, the interaction must provoke an action. And how do we promote an action from the student with the learning material? Well, the context is that we want to have things to be relevant to the student. In general, when people would want to learn things, it must be relevant to us. Meaning and relevance defines the reason for learning. It's central to engaging the student, provoking that action, promoting that learning. Individuals do not desire to learn something simply because it is fun to do so. It must be relevant and meaningful. To provide you an example, a next generation product beyond textbooks can be authentic, but not relevant to a student. In terms of the topic of nutrition in humans, some good resources begin with contexts that are associate something from the news. So, for example, a death from computer games due to not eating to introduce the human nutrition topic to students. It just won't do it for teenagers. It's real life, but it's not relevant. Teenagers are not considering the possibility of death. In amBook, we have an authentic and relevant passage for our student. The starter for human nutrition? Well, watch it for yourself. Yes, for human nutrition, it's flatulence. This is meaningful to a student. And notice the focus of the questions. It's meaningful to learning science. Why do we release gas? Can we control the amount of gas we release? Do you know what causes flatulence? Do you know what type of flatulence may depend on the type of food we eat and what happens in our digestive system? Definitely authentic and relevant. And this in particular has been quite engaging for students and others. Some premium interactive products can be authentic but not relevant to a student as well. For example, some resources provide a focus on climbing Mount Everest. How many students will want to climb Mount Everest and suffer for it? Think about it. Is that relevant to a student? No. But what is? The example for amBook that is authentic and relevant for human respiration is simply this. Yes, the topic of yawning. This is meaningful to a student. And by the way, are you yawning too now? And wondering why you yawn? Another example on electricity. Before going into diagrams and taking a look at parallel and series circuits, this is the video that sparks the curiosity of the students, that action to want to learn. Are you asking yourself, how many lemons? Well, let's back away. So as you can see by these few examples, amBook was designed to be engaging, to be authentic and relevant to students when beginning a topic in science. However, the beginning of the topic is just that, the beginning. The 5 E's instructional model was utilized to make a dynamic and engaging topic exploration in amBook for students by using audio, video, animation, simulations. In this case here, there are videos showcasing the beginning, middle, and somewhat end of a lesson on density, mass, and volume. This video here is a primary example, just like the others, to engage the students in something that's authentic and meaningful. As they go through the instructional model, they explore the scientific equipment. They explore how it is used in the lab. They even go in depth of the history of the science by using animations along with text and authentic experiments. Another section of the same amBook has videos to demonstrate how the equipment is used, and those can be even overlaid with images that are pulled up on the same page. Layer after layer, amBook utilizes the computer to a way that textbooks never could. So what teachers need and what students want and how amBook delivers. Teachers need pedagogically sound and accurate content. Obviously, students want accurate content. And this is shown by our awards, the Bessie 2011, and the endorsement of Dr. Roger W. Bybee. amBook delivers engaging content by providing discrepant events, things that make you question, why did that happen? Or they're meaningful through humor and they're definitely relevant to the students. amBook promotes critical thinking, providing several questions throughout the chapter, delaying the answers, allowing the students to actually build their knowledge and come back to those questions and discuss them with classmates, to critically evaluate the scientific phenomena within the amBook, as well as allowing for self-assessment questions. amBook has simulations, games, videos, and animations to promote intellectual exploration, provides high levels of interactivity that directs learning as well as cognitive interactions. And each book or chapter features several questions that are formative and summative in nature. They provide self-check to the students, and they help the teachers understand where the student is in that particular topic. amBook versus other interactive books or resources is far beyond all. It's relevant to the teenager. It has humorous representations. It is pedagogically sound. It has a design where concepts are modeled after current teenage magazines. It inspires learning and interest in the topic. And there is evidence of marked improvement in interactions between students and teachers. It has rich videos that elicit an inquiry response. And there is strong evidence of self-directed learning. Other digital resources don't even come close. What did they say for the Bessie Award? They said science doesn't always have to be dry, and amBook proves it. Nearly every page of this software is packed with videos, animations, many of which are interactive, and fun stuff for students to do on their own, or for teachers to use in the classroom. An excerpt from Dr. Roger Bybee's account of amBook, he stated, "In my view, amBook hit the mark for science teachers making the transition to the 21st century instruction. It's a 21st century response to a 21st century vision. And the approach that amBook has taken is a major step forward for the science education community. Here is a bridge across the digital divide, one that leads to better science teaching and enhanced learning for all students." amBook in the classroom, the evidence of its success: students explored activities ahead of the lesson. They were engaged in collaborative and argumentative discussions, and they actively asked questions to clarify understanding. They were on task and focused, independent of academic inclinations or abilities. They were so focused they wanted to move ahead and learn more with amBook. Teachers began transforming their methods of instruction. They asked probing questions to draw out understanding. They promoted peer assessment, and they actively used amBook to hook students. They promoted collaborative learning, and it minimized chorus-answer type interactions. So amBook achieved the design of rethinking pedagogy, reformulating pedagogy in the classroom to the best standard practices. Media coverage on amBook has included newspapers, radio, television. More and more, they are all singing the praises of amBook and this fundamental change in learning in the classroom. amBook by Amden. The inquiry learning revolution has begun.